Papoose needs to hit the brakes immediately because his desperate cry for attention is getting pathetic. Look, everyone knows I've already dragged Claressa's shields of filth on this channel. But today, we need to focus on our clout-chasing man. We get it, Pap. You were relevant 2 decades ago. You had your little moments, and hip-hop purists remember your dusty freestyle catalog. That whole legendary remix verse was memorable, sure, but let's be totally real here. It was actually Busta Rhymes' record, and everyone knows the actual history. So please stop milking your prehistoric achievements every single chance you get. Relying on ancient history has always been your entire identity and brand. But the internet is finally realizing that you are just leeching off of other people's trending drama instead of generating your own actual headlines. Right now, the entire world is watching Claressa's shields, and fans instantly notice you shamelessly inserting yourself into her viral moments just to hijack some desperate spotlight for yourself. Meanwhile, Remy Ma, French Montana, and Max B are completely breaking the internet because their massive new track has every single messy blog talking. Ever since the big breakup, the toxic gossip surrounding this messy fallout has grown ridiculously chaotic, which is exactly why fans are aggressively decoding every single shady bar and reading directly between the lines. The track is literally titled Ever Since You Left. So if Remy Ma wants to drop lethal subliminal dices on a breakup anthem, these delusional stans need to stop playing shocked online. Whether someone got dumped, packed up, or the dynamic change, listeners are obviously going to link those savage lyrics to this highly publicized train wreck, because that is exactly how messy rap beef operates. Now, Remy Ma is making petty statements online, and suddenly a few censored Claressa Shields loyalists and dedicated anti-Remy haters are completely losing their minds over every minor syllable. Why is everyone acting so incredibly traumatized right now? That is the hilarious question the entire internet is asking.
Is it cool to be from New York right now, man? I just want to know, is it cool to be from New York City right now, man?
Claressa Shields has been running her mouth for an eternity, constantly dragging Remy Ma into mud the very second she linked up with Papoose. From messy press tours to unhinged Twitter rants, the internet has been eating up this toxic, never-ending circus for months. We have witnessed pure vitriol, petty insults, and endless public disrespect. Yet the moment Remy Ma finally fires back, these hypocritical blogs act completely traumatized, completely erasing the actual timeline. It is genuinely hilarious how these delusional commentators expect one woman to play silent victim forever while the other side babbles nonstop. When the internet decides to hate you, they literally expect you to sit there, look pretty, and absorb every single violent jab without reacting, which is entirely detached from reality. No human being is going to tolerate nonstop cyberbullying, while thousands of toxic trolls chimed in across social media daily. Now that Remy Ma is finally talking her talk and standing 10 toes down on her savage commentary, these haters are shaking. Whether those lethal bars were directly targeted at Claressa Shields or not, the streets are unanimously agreeing that she was absolutely dismantling her, especially since the competitive energy feels incredibly personal. Fans are aggressively connecting the dots, microanalyzing every syllable and cross-referencing this drop with every piece of messy history we know. And quite frankly, that is exactly why this dramatic wildfire is spreading out of control. Look, we all know the lyrics by heart. We have watched the viral reaction videos, and we have seen every self-proclaimed hip-hop expert dissect the track line by line. But the real tea, and the exact reason I'm exposing this today, is because Papoose is shamelessly hijacking the algorithms to make sure his own struggling career gets noticed. I completely miss his antics on Instagram because your girl is currently blocked over there, but I caught his desperate antics over on Threads, and honestly, I will probably get blocked there next for keeping it real. Suddenly, this man is frantically spamming his old catalog, promoting forgotten records, and trying to force the spotlight onto his own music. Look, let's be objective for a second. Self-marketing is a fundamental business strategy, and utilizing a viral moment is just basic corporate common sense. If the entire world is screaming about Remy Ma's verse, analyzing the fallout, and desperately waiting for your personal response, obviously you exploit that traffic for some easy engagement. It is undeniably smart marketing, but the shady part here is a highly calculated timing. Every single time the tension boils over between the actual women involved, Papoose magically finds a way to insert his irrelevant self right into the center of the narrative. That is exactly why the internet is calling him out for leeching off the massive buzz that these ladies generated long before he entered the chat.
I got my Knicks hat, man. I'm dead ass. I got my Timberlands on. Rest in peace to my brother DJ K Slay. He never stopped repping New York, man.
Right now, Remy Ma is completely running the internet, gaining massive praise for her killer feature while the blogs obsess over her lyrics. However, let's clear up one major rumor. She was definitely not dissing Foxy Brown. Before her iconic Drink Champs interview, I might have believed the conspiracy theories, but she explicitly stated on that platform that she wants zero-piece threatening drama with anyone. She practically reminded everyone that they all share the same gritty background and are just trying to secure their bags, which instantly shuts down any ancient beef narratives. While messy fans claim the line targets Foxy Brown due to their historic tension, it is highly likely just clever imagery referencing a red-orange fox hairstyle. Sure, rap lyrics always leave room for shady double meanings, but based on her public comments, people are drastically overanalyzing this track. Unless there is secret, behind-the-scenes text message drama we know nothing about, these wild internet theories are pure fan fiction. What remains undeniable is that Remy Ma absolutely devoured that record and has the entire industry talking. This major collaboration with French Montana and Max B instantly set the internet on fire, with Remy Ma's verse completely hijacking the entire conversation. Naturally, bitter haters are already trying to minimize her impact, whining that her bars were way too basic and simple. But let's be real. Not every single track needs to be an overcomplicated, multi-layered lyrical puzzle packed with technical metaphors. The ultimate goal of a real hit is to drop memorable, high-impact lines that instantly connect with listeners. It is hilarious how these hypocritical critics move the goalposts. If an artist gets too complex, they complain it is unlistenable, but the second a verse is direct and catchy, suddenly it is a problem. The standard clearly changes depending on who is holding the mic, proving this fake outrage isn't even about the actual music. I already exposed my thoughts on this during my chaotic live stream, where we aggressively dissected all the wild fan interpretations before my phone literally disconnected mid-rant. By the way, make sure you smash that like button and check out my other explosive videos covering the Rick Ross situation. Getting right back to the drama. The entire internet is panicking over one lethal bar where Remy Ma spits about telling her ex to find someone stupid to play with. Delusional fans are immediately jumping to wild conclusions, assuming they know exactly who she is dragging. But unless the artist explicitly confirms the target, people are just projecting their own messy theories onto a track written to fit a broader breakup theme. At the end of the day, Remy Ma successfully dropped back-to-back viral records that have the entire industry completely shook, leaving everyone desperately wondering who is brave enough to step into the booth and answer back. The entire internet is desperately begging for a diss track response. But while the blogs speculate, Papoose is busy hijacking the algorithm to plug his own struggling projects and force himself into the spotlight. Honestly, his behavior is getting weirder by the second. While this explosive rap beef is boiling over, he is simultaneously starting embarrassing online feuds with random grown men over sports takes, New York food, and petty side topics that have absolutely nothing to do with the actual drama. The most unhinged part? He publicly claimed that a 38-year-old man was basically an inexperienced child who shouldn't be part of the conversation. Look, a 38-year-old is a fully grown adult pushing 40, not a toddler, which has fans deeply questioning his warped standards of maturity and age. This desperate attempt at a joke backfired completely, exposing his hypocritical logic and giving the internet endless material to microanalyze under a massive microscope. If you let a clout chaser ramble long enough, they will always accidentally expose how their mind actually works, proving that loud statements usually create the biggest disasters. We all see him flexing his flashy chains, diamond pinky rings, and expensive jewelry online, but the public is finally looking past the rented accessories and questioning his actual reality. To make matters even messier, these people just returned from a luxury vacation only to instantly jump right back into toxic comment section warfare. Apparently, the internet never sleeps because they went from posting aesthetic travel photos to aggressively throwing petty shade at their critics within 5 seconds. Now, The chaotic situation involving Nia, the GOAT, has the fan base completely divided, which is exactly why I am navigating the specific train wreck with extreme caution. There are way too many toxic, moving parts behind the scenes to know what is actually true. When a decade-long friendship completely implodes in public, things get incredibly messy, filled with deep-seated resentment and unaddressed trauma. Fans are aggressively decoding every single subliminal post, because on one side, it looks like a desperate attempt to move on, while on the other, the blinding pain of a toxic fallout is completely impossible to hide. On the flip side, it is entirely obvious they're still deeply traumatized and bitter over how this entire toxic situation imploded. Honestly, both things could be completely true at once, because messy relationships and dramatic fallouts are never black and white. At the end of the day, if you are constantly bragging about moving on and leveling up in life, then you need to actually keep moving forward instead of obsessing over the past. When a dynamic becomes completely toxic and your frantic advice is ignored, there comes a point where you just have to let people make their own tragic mistakes and suffer the consequences. That is exactly where this chaotic train wreck is heading. These people are so blinded by their own delusions that they're actively ignoring the blazing red flags right in front of their faces, because reality completely shatters the fake fantasy in their heads. It is like someone screaming about how much they worship Mary J. Blige and blasting her music, while completely missing the brutal life lessons and cautionary tales embedded right in her tragic story. Why celebrate the journey if you're going to completely ignore the warnings that come with it? As for the chaotic Nia the GOAT drama, major props to her for securing her bag and aggressively building her own empire. Everyone out here is trying to hustle and make money, and I love that for her. But the second messy family members and decade-long friendships get dragged into the public eye, I officially refuse to pick a side. Trying to decipher real intentions from a filtered screen is practically impossible, especially since these toxic friend groups are screaming at each other today and back to being fake besties by tomorrow. I am keeping my distance because emotions are volatile and these situations shift fast. I totally get why fans think Nia the GOAT was genuinely trying to drop helpful advice, just like I understand why the other side completely blocked it out. If a stubborn person refuses to listen, you just have to step back and let them crash and burn on their own path. Meanwhile, I'm sitting back with my popcorn watching this entire industry wildfire unfold, tracking exactly who is stepping into the crossfire. I am watching exactly who is leeching off this explosive drama for quick clout. Fans instantly see right through Papoose as he shamelessly inserts his irrelevant self into trending algorithms, calculating that everyone is watching for his next pathetic move. To make his clout-chasing even funnier, he frantically reminds the internet that he is supposedly a hardcore New York Knicks fan. Meanwhile, Remy Ma, Fat Joe, and actual A-list stars have consistently sat courtside for decades. The internet is screaming right now because the Knicks are on a historic playoff run, sending New York into an absolute frenzy. After waiting decades for a real championship contender, the entire city is naturally going wild over this massive basketball milestone. Sports are meant to unite communities, and ecstatic energy radiating from New York right now is completely undeniable. Speaking of local culture, the chopped cheese sandwich is a legendary staple, not some viral internet trend that magically appeared overnight. Bitter, older commentators love starting cringy generational wars because they are utterly terrified of change, desperately crying that classic hero sandwiches are being replaced. Nobody is erasing ancient history, but culture naturally evolves, and younger generations have every right to create their own traditions. The relentless criticism coming from these prehistoric haters isn't even about the food or the music. They are just deeply threatened by how the youth confidently moves. Drop your thoughts in the chaotic comments below right now. Do you agree with my flawless analysis, or are you completely delusional? Smash that like button, forcefully subscribe, and share this video everywhere immediately.